It was a result which will certainly ease some of the pressure on Manchester United, and a good result to end the week for them as well, with the away goal in Europe at Club Brugge, return leg to come. It was a good game against Watford, but the decisive moment was the penalty award and then the second strike for Martial.
Yeah, I think Manchester United, there were moments in this game in which you may have thought, oh boy, are they in trouble? Early on, and no better picture than that when Nemanja Matic and Harry Maguire just run into each other. The ball pops open to Troy Deeney, who for whatever reason doesn't take a shot on goal. If that had happened and maybe Troy Deeney ends up scoring, I think it changes the dynamic of the game entirely. And there were many times in the first half in which Manchester United struggled with possession, struggled playing out of the back, turnovers. But eventually, as the game got going and I think the momentum that Watford had generated in the first half didn't quite carry on to the second half, what you saw is the quality of players like Bruno Fernandes, who clearly you see out on the field, and he jumps out at you. The calmness that he gives his team on the ball, the confidence, the quality of passing, the running with the ball, the movement of the ball as well. There is a reference point. Now, I'm not so sure as to whether this is in some ways a direct result to the fact that Manchester United hasn't been all that good this year. And so when you see a player that looks like a player, you just go, hey, wait a minute, we got something special here. Or if indeed Bruno Fernandes is that kind of player. But I can tell you that he looks different than everybody else out on the field. And the first run, he creates a penalty, ends up scoring that penalty. Eventually, he's able to find on the pass Anthony Martial, who scores a beautiful goal. What a goal that is. And for Manchester United fans, it has to be incredibly frustrating to see Anthony Martial scoring this type of goal, but not do it consistently. And so you take it today and you hope that that carries over to next week. Good luck with that, because we have seen over the course of Martial's career that it's one good thing, a step back. Another good thing, a step back. Consistency, I think, is the key for him, and consistency is the key also for Manchester United. They can learn from winning this game, and they can learn from the player that they now have available in Bruno Fernandes, and be optimistic about what the future looks like.
It would be remiss not to mention the rather controversial disallowing of the goal from Watford because of the handball on Dawson ahead of Deeney stabbing it home. And then the offside decision, which didn't go for Watford. Didn't seem like there was any kind of calibration done, or at least not transparently for everyone to see, on Martial, who may well have been just offside. How frustrating will that be for Nigel Pearson?
It's frustrating because I think that they were, as I just mentioned, the first half, they were very much in the game. But you see why this team is where they are on the table, because they have shortcomings in the final decision. They have shortcomings in the attacking half. Defensively, they have issues. Sometimes they get stretched in the midfield. A good picture of that would be the third goal by Mason Greenwood, in which there is no real challenge to the ball, as Greenwood is carrying the ball forward and then passes the ball to Fernandes. Fernandes back to Greenwood, and you don't see any Watford player really challenging the ball and really making a tackle on the ball. Great finish by Greenwood. Another reason to be optimistic if you're Manchester United. But if you're Watford, yes, you'd be disappointed in that it may have gone your way. And on a different day, maybe the ball bounces in a different direction and you have the opportunity to get something out of this game. As for the handball itself, I don't think there's any controversy there, because if you want to get upset, don't get upset at VAR, don't get upset at the fact that a handball was called, get upset about the change in the laws of the game, in which says that if you touch the ball with your arm in any way, without intent, with intent, what have you, but it results in a goal as an attacking player, well, that goal will be called off. That's just simply where we are. So if you want to get upset at somebody, get upset at the people who changed the law. Otherwise, I don't think there was much controversy as it pertains to that goal in particular.
You talked about Bruno Fernandes and being this player who might be a bit of an enigma. He might be world class. He might be just the player who looks better than what's around him. Could this be a player, though, who could steer Manchester United towards that top four? He's combining well with the other players. We saw McTominay coming back in. Daniel James was obviously involved with him. Looks to be sort of setting off bright ideas with their tandem passing. The range of passing, ability on the ball. Could Manchester United now use that signing to surge towards the top four?
I think what you can do is you can give yourself an opportunity, and you can put pressure on Chelsea, who, even though they had a big result against Spurs yesterday, they haven't been the picture of consistency either. And so,
hence the defeat to United.
Well, correct. And so the point is, if you just stay right there in the fight, in the race, eventually Chelsea may just take a step back. And then if you're Manchester United, you have to be there close enough to where you can take advantage of whatever Chelsea offers you. But in order to take advantage of that, then Manchester United has to find consistency in themselves. And that's where perhaps I have some doubt as to whether Manchester United is strong enough with Bruno Fernandes or without Bruno Fernandes. I think they're a better team with Bruno Fernandes out on the field. It showed today. And hopefully, if you're a Manchester United fan, you can see that carry on throughout the next few weeks.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.